All right. Hello, zoology people. Hope you're doing well today. I want to continue onwards. I had some technical difficulties yesterday, so I was not able to advance as much as I wanted, but I'm here now and trying to get caught up a little bit here. But up to this point, you should have become a little bit familiar with ecology and some of the ecological interactions. We know about mutualisms, positive interactions, competitions, negative that we try to avoid, we try to minimize, we partition our resources in such a way that we're not in direct competition. We know a little bit about consumption and two very specific types of consumptive interactions. We know about predation, positive and negative, the predator and the prey, where the prey is killed for nutritional purpose. We know about parasitism, positive and negative, the parasite and the host, where the host is, I should say, the parasite tries to keep the host alive for as long as possible, take, but not actually kill the host. So important ecology and it exists around in the world, and it is linked. It's sort of not independent from the second theme that we're going to get into today, which is evolution. A lot of species, a lot of individuals, a lot of organisms have co-evolved, and because of the co-evolution throughout time, they've learned how to, use another species as prey, or use this species as a host, or develop a mutualism with this individual species. So we're presenting them as separate, but understand they're linked. There is an ecological link, maybe like which came first, the chicken or the egg. I'm not sure in this situation. But ecology has an impact on evolution, and evolution has an impact on ecology. So they are integrated together, right? These two concepts. So evolution we define specifically now as genetic changes. It can be a simple change. It can be a very profound change. But any change in the population from generation to generation. So descent with modification. Different levels of evolution, different sort of thoughts of evolution, but in the most simple format of evolution, you can look at a parent and children. Right? If you look at you and your parents, you are not a clone of mother, you are not a clone of father. You have received half of mom's genes and half of dad's genes, and that makes you very sort of different than either parent. Different than your siblings as well. Unless you're an identical twin, you don't share the same genes as a brother, as a sister. You may have different blood type as a brother and sister because of different genes. So in the most simple, most fundamental level, just having offspring leads to genetic changes in that population. So the changes we're going to look at, some changes might prove to be beneficial, some might prove to be not so good, but that's the basis then for the evolutionary process to work upon, right? So descent with modification. So if I was to show you this picture here and ask you, okay, is that an example of ecology? And if so, which one? And I think most of you would, get that. Oh yeah, that's ecology. That's easy. That's the lion eating the buffalo. That's predatory interaction, predation. Say, all right, yeah, I give you that. But can we also now integrate these two concepts? Is there going to be some evolutionary sort of side effects that come from this interaction? Can evolution be linked to ecology? And does evolution depend on ecology at times? So if we analyze this picture here, I would say, well, why was this lion successful? This lion was successful because it was strong, it was fast, it had big claws, it was intelligent in some way, right? So those are genes or a genetic sort of composition that's good, that we want that to continue to be passed in this population. So because it has found food, it has enough energy to survive another day, right? And continue to maybe reproduce over time. Why did this buffalo get killed? Well, I don't know exactly the whole story, but I suspect it may have been slow. It may have been weak. It may have been blind from the left eye or couldn't hear too well. Something was maybe evolutionarily flawed, genetically flawed with this organism. So because it has been removed from the population, it's not going to continue to pass on these maybe flawed genes into the next generation. So this particular ecological interaction is having an impact on the evolution of both the lion species and the buffalo species in this area, right? So the predators over time make the prey item stronger by removing the weak and the sickly, so enabling them to pass on the healthier, stronger genes. And if you think, well, if that continues to happen and the prey item gets stronger and faster, it's going to make it more difficult to find weak ones. So then, you know, concurrently, the predatory situation, the lion population will have to, again, the strongest ones will continue to have to reproduce, and eventually the weak lion genetic compositions will be removed from that population as well. So evolution can be driven by ecology, but then evolution can also drive ecology as well. So again, integrated very closely, these two concepts. So this could be a whole semester, right? Evolutionary theory, we could spend a whole semester on different ways of evolution, different effects of evolution. I don't want to spend the whole semester with this. It's going to be a major theme throughout the course, but I want to address evolution, you know, very specifically to each individual group of animals that we cover. Right now, this is just introductory sort of concepts and factors that sort of quote unquote cause evolution, factors that can contribute to the evolutionary process, factors that can contribute to change, to genetic change. And again, it could be a whole course, it can make a whole career, get a PhD in evolutionary theory here, but we're going to look at sort of 4 mechanisms that are relatively easy to kind of visualize and kind of make sense of, that can contribute to the evolutionary process. The first, we're going to look at mutation. So mutation is any change in the organism's DNA. Simple as that. Any change. It might be a point mutation. Maybe one adenine is replaced by a guanine. Cytosine gets mistakenly replaced by a thymine. Any in the whole genome, it could be as simple as 1 point mutation. And if you took 1306, I hope you remember a little bit about different types of missense mutations, nonsense mutations, frame shift mutations. All of these are mechanisms that can cause genetic change, changes in the DNA sequence, right? So mutations are sort of viewed as the origin of genetic variation, and most mutations just randomly occur over time. Enzymes make mistakes, just little bases get placed in the wrong sequence, that kind of stuff. There's errors in the replication process, in the copying, and again, most mutations are viewed as random. I don't like this sort of idea that a mutation is necessarily harmful, right? In some cases, they may be harmful, but the mutation is just the change, right? Whether the mutation proves to be harmful or beneficial, that depends on the ecology that that organism finds itself in, so the interactions that surround it. So we'll go with that for now, but understand, yes, they are random in most cases. Harmful depends, right? Some mutations are beneficial, again, depends on the situation. In this picture, I see a frog with some mutated situation, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 legs. And you would say, well, man, more legs equal better jumping ability, better swimming ability. But that didn't, it was not the case. The mutated situation caused just abnormal legs, non-functional legs. So in this situation, the mutation did prove to be harmful. That frog is dead. Yeah. In another situation, you look at this little baby. Say, oh, look at that cute little baby. Oh, look at that cute little mutant, right? And it's a mutant in 2 ways. We would, biologically say that's a two-leveled mutated little kid there, right? So 1, we look at the eye color. So if we're analyzing the genome of humans, brown eyes are considered to be, quote unquote, the wild type. And that's the sort of the default level for human beings, right? Brown eyes. Any deviation from brown eyes, we can attribute back to mutations. So some sort of mutation occurred. In this situation, we have blue eyes, which is a recessive allele that's developed over time in humans and in other species. But in this situation, so we say, well, there's a mutation that happened. And skin color, we see a very fair skin color, very light skin color. Well, also the wild type for humans is very, very dark skin. So any variation from dark skin is considered to be caused by some sort of mutated instruction, a chromosome, an allele that's developed different from the wild type. So whether or not these mutations prove to be harmful or beneficial, or maybe they have no effect, it depends on the situation the organism finds itself in. So maybe this baby is cute because of the blue eyes, because of the fair skin. If it was regular brown eyes, cute, but not as cute. Maybe when this child grows up, because of the blue eyes, it might be easier to get attention, might be easier to get a date to the prom or something, right? So again, not that it's causing any biological or physiological effect, it just might attract more attention or something like that, right? So again, the idea of mutations, yes, they cause change. The change may be beneficial, may be detrimental to the health of the organism, but again, depends on the ecological interactions surrounding that organism. So I give you 4 examples here, right? So we have a domesticated cat that is not the natural wild type color, but white, right? Because of selective breeding or whatever the case. But would you consider that a mutation that caused white fur in a domesticated cat, would that be good, no effect, or would that be bad? And would that be the same situation? We have an alligator here that has what we call piebald situation. In humans, we call this vitiligo, where we stop producing skin pigment. But now you have an alligator that has a mutation causing large patches of white, non-pigmented color on the skin. So wild alligator, would this mutation have the same impact as what we see in this domesticated animal? Right? So I don't know, maybe you have an idea. My idea is I think this mutation may not be that bad, because the cat's eating out of a bowl, right? Here, now you have an alligator trying to sneak up, living in a sort of green and brown world and trying to sneak up on prey, and it's very easily seen. So it would make it very difficult for that alligator to be an effective predator, I would think, yeah? Here we have a mutation where instead of spots, we have a cheetah that's striped cheetah here, right? So I don't know, I don't think it has an impact on speed, but would that striped mutation be beneficial? No effect, or a harmful situation to the cheetah? I don't know, I don't have enough information, enough context there, but it might make the cheetah more visible to prey, and might make the cheetah more handsome to potential mates. I don't know, just something different. Here we have a fly with normal eyes, but it has a mutation now where we have little eye sensors, little eye spots, little sort of compound eyes, basically on the armpit area, axillary area. So I don't know about you, but flies are annoying enough already. And if a fly has eyes that can see behind it now, I think, wow, that would make them even more difficult to sneak up on. And I think that would be a beneficial situation for a fly. But again, the mutation is just the change. The change, again, may not have some sort of positive, negative effect on the actual life of the organism, right? So we got to get into another concept to carry this farther here. So going back, reviewing your 1306 material, protein synthesis, the central dogma, going from DNA to a single strand of RNA, so transcription followed by translation. Now, getting an amino acid chain there, right? Well, it could be as simple as one base pair that's changed. We replace that T with an A. Our codon changes from GAA to GUA, and we now have a missense mutation where we ended up with the wrong amino acid. And this would be the genetic, I guess the genetic foundation, the genetic, I'm looking for the word, the reason why we have then sickle cell anemia, right, in humans. So it's as simple as one letter that disrupted the shape of that cell. The cell is fragile, the cell breaks, and we end up with something like that. Right? So in this situation, if you're not transporting oxygen properly, I would say yes, that's a negative situation, right? We're not transporting oxygen throughout the body, and we need oxygen for normal physiology. Yeah? So with that, let me pause this video, stop this video, that way it doesn't get too large, and we'll progress into selection.